Good evening. Let's wait for 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, I will start the class in 3 4 minutes. Think people. Okay, then let's start the class. Last class we discussed about the conditional statements, right? Like if else if switch statements, nested if. Now today we will discuss about the loop statements. Like let me open my Eclipse. If you want to perform an action repeated times, like if you want to specify an operation to repeated number of times, like 3 times, you can use loops. So I will start the class. Let me share my screen. Okay. My screen window. Yeah. Is my screen visible to everyone, right? Just give me your thumbs up or anything. Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible to everybody? Yeah. 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 Let's go to. Then we will move. Yeah. This is all about the conditional statements we discussed previously, right? Conditional statements. What are conditional statements? When you want to execute, when you want to control the flow of the program based on the conditions. Okay. So we will use the if statements, if else, and all those things. Now today we will discuss about the loops. Loops are nothing but you want to execute a block of a code. Okay, you want to execute certain code repeatedly. Like if you want to repeat it for 2 times, 3 times. Okay, for that we use loops. You want to iterate that same program number of times repeatedly, so we use the loop statements. And basically we have three primary types of loop mostly, which is nothing but for loop, while loop, and do while loop. And we have nested while loops and advanced for each loop. Okay, so I will explain all those things in the today's class. Now let me create one package here. So method classes, new package, loop package. Nice. Now let me create one class. Okay. And writing. And I'm including the main method here. Okay. Now, now see. Today's class is about loop statements. Loop statements. Loop statements. What does loop statements is? It allows us to execute the code, execute the block of a code repeatedly. If you want to repeat the code, like it allow us to run block of code repeatedly. Okay, this is definition of the loop statements. If you want to run a block of a code repeatedly, so we will use a loop statements. And we have for loop and while loop and do while loop. Okay, and then I think these are nested loop. Okay, these are all the loops. We have different types of a loop. In those we have nested loop also. And we have one more, like infinite loops. Okay, like we didn't give any condition to it, so it will run through the every loop. And enhanced for loop, mostly we'll like in the arrays and collections we use this enhanced for loop. Okay, most of the times we use for and while. Okay, most of the times we use for, while, and nested loop also. And do while mostly we will not use that much, but it's important to learn. Now, for loop and a do while, nested loop. Now come to the point. First we will, okay, these are the types. These are the types of a loops. And the loops are nothing but if you want to run a block of code repeatedly, or if you like, if you want to run a code 3 times or 4 times, so you can use all those loops, like for loop and while loop, do while loop, and nested loop. Why we want to run a repeated code? Like if you want to if you want to sum of numbers like 1 to 5, so the same operation you will do for the 5 times, like from 1 to 3, so 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So you want to repeat the code 5 times. So in those cases we use these loops. Okay, like if for to sum the all the values, we use some writing repeated types, like when you are writing repetitive code. Okay, when you are writing a repeatedly code, so you can use that where you write the repeated code, you can use, instead of writing repeated code, you can use the loops. Okay, if you need to print some 5 numbers from 1 to 10, you can use a loop instead. Like, see, here what I do, here I use the system dot out dot println, right? Println, and in here I will give the number as some 1. Okay, here I am giving 1. Now let me see. Let me run it. Java application. Here I am getting number 1. So if I want to print up to 10 numbers, what I have to do, I have to write this system.out.println statement, like output statement, for 10 times. Okay, this is repeated code, right? I am repeating the same code number of times. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Okay, to print out from 1 to 8, I have written same statement up to 8 times, and when I run this, now I can write the 1 to 8 now. Okay, here it's printing 1 to 8 numbers, so this is a repeated code. Here, to do the same task, we can use the for loops. Okay, we have for loops, while loop. By using the loops, we can print the same numbers 1 to 8 without repeating the same code. Okay, first we will discuss about the first type of a loop, for loop. Okay, now telling for loop. What is the for loop? The for loop is used to when the number of iteration is known. Like if you want to if you are if you know the number, how many times you want to iterate on a block of a code, then it is best. Okay, it is the best way to use a for loop. Okay, like if it is used when the number of the iterations, you want iterations is nothing but you are repeating the code, is known beforehand. Before executing the code, you know how many times you want to repeat the code, then you can use a for loop. It consists of a 3 parts majorly. Okay, iterations are known beforehand. Okay, if you have known how many iterations you want to iterate that program, so you can use a for loop, and it has 3 parameters. Okay, here it takes 3 parameters, 3 parameters. Okay, which are nothing but, one is initialization. Okay, initialization, and let me write it here. Okay, first is initialization, and second one is a condition. Okay, for loop statement, it takes a 3 parameters. It takes a 3 parameters. One is initialization, and second one is a condition, and third one is like updating the values. Okay, now initialization means initializing the loop variable. Like a loop, we are initialize a loop variable. Okay, loop variable. And condition means we will put the condition to how many times it has to run. Okay, the loop continue. So based on this condition, loop continues. Loop continues as long as condition. Okay, this condition is true. Condition is true. And the final one is update. Like it will update the loop variable, update loop variable for each iteration. Okay, for one complete cycle of per loop, it will update the value. Update means increase or a decrease. You need to update the loop variable for each iteration. These are the three parameters the for loop will takes. Okay, now I will show you the syntax so that you can familiar with what are those parameters and where we use those parameters. Like syntax, this is a syntax for the for loop. Let me down this here. And the syntax for the for loop is we use a for keyword. Okay, now in the bracket, okay, close it, close it. And here inside the bracket, first we need to initialize the, what is initialization? Initialization. Okay, first we need to initialize the loop variable. Here we will initialize a loop variable. Second, we will do the, we will keep the one condition. After the condition, we will update that loop variable by using this update. Okay, now after this, inside this block, we will write a, whatever the code you want to execute, we write that code execute. Okay, whatever you want to execute the code, here we will write that code. Okay, this is the for loop, and this is the syntax how we have to write the for loop. Okay, now for loop means iterations are known beforehand. You know how many iterations it has to be repeat that program. So here it takes the three parameters, which is nothing but initialization, condition, and update. So where we use the initialization, here we use a loop variable. Here we use condition to how many times the loop has to iterate. Okay, until this condition became false, the loop will iterate. Okay, now this will update the loop variable for every iteration. For one round of iteration, it will update that value, like increasing or decreasing. Here it can increase the value, or we can use a decreasing value. So like here we use now, right? Here we use a 1 to 8. We have taken the print system dot out statements and we have printed 1 to 8. Now by using the for loop, how it will print, we will see. Like see for, okay, this is a for loop, right? And this is a bracket, and inside this, now first what we have to do, first we need to initialize a loop variable. Okay, now we need to initialize a variable. Now here we want to print the suppose here we want to print the 1 to 8 numbers. So numbers, I am taking the one integer value. Okay, so here we want to print the loop value, and here we are taking integer I equals to, this is a variable, and I am initializing I equals to 1. Okay, now semicolon, this is the initialization. Okay, I'm initializing a variable. So that variable is using in the for loop, so it's called as a initialization the loop variable. This is a loop variable. Now what is the condition? I want to print it. Okay, I want to print it up to 8 numbers only, up to 8 numbers. So which is nothing but I less than or equals to 8. I less than or equals to 8. Now again semicolon. So for first iteration, it will take it as a I equals to 1. Okay, for first iteration, it will take it as a 1 initially. Okay, initially. So for first initialization, it will check whether I is less than or 8 or not. First is 8 only, right? First basic, it is a 1, so it is obviously less than or equals to 8. So it will go to the, so it will go to the block, and it will, whatever the code you write it here, like system dot out dot print ln. Okay, I'm explaining the flow of the code. Okay, how the for loop works. Okay, the here I will write the number And here I'm writing I. Okay, now see, initially I'm initializing the one value. Okay, here I'm using I equals to 1. Why? Because I want to print the 8 numbers. Okay, from 1 to 8 numbers. So the loop has to start with the loop has to start at a 1. So initially I'm taking 1. So it will check the condition. First we have to initialize, then it will check the condition. The condition is true or false. I is less than or equals to 8 or not, it will check. So here the condition is true. Then it will go to the block of a code which we have written inside a for loop. Okay, now it will print the I equals to 1 first in the first instance. Okay, here I equals to 1. Okay, now when it execute this line of code, it will come outside of this loop and it will check for the update. Okay, here what we have to do after we are printing the 1, we need to increment this value. Whatever the value we had taken variable, we need to increment that value by 1. Okay, so for that I'm using 1. Okay, I plus plus. Okay, here it takes I and it's give the value increment by one value. So now the I will become 2, and again it will check the condition. Okay, again here first I will explain you right here. Here first it will be I equals to 1. Now it will check whether 1 is less than or equals to 8. Okay, now this is a true condition, right? So this is a true condition, and then it will execute this block of code, and after executing it come out of the loop and it will increment that value in the update parameter. Okay, now what will happen here? In the second I equals to it will become I equals to 2. Okay, now again what it will check whether 2 is less than or equals to 8. Okay, now this condition is also true. Then again it will print here. Now I equals to 2, right? So it will print I equals to 2. So it will happens until this condition get false. Here till 8 it will print, and here 8 is less than or equals to, it is equals to, then it will print the 8 number. Then again it will go to this increment value, it will increment that value, and now here I will become 9. Okay, the last case I'm explaining. Okay, I equals to 9, it will become I equals to 9, and here it will check whether condition is true or false. 9 is less than 9 is less than or equals to 8. Now here the condition is false. Now it will come out of the program. Okay, now it come out of this program. Let's see how it's printing the values. Run as Java application. Okay, see here it printing as a numbers. Initially, we used the system out dot println statement 8 times. We have repeated the same code. Okay, we have repeated the same code for 8 lines. Okay, now we have decreased that 8 lines to 3 lines of the program. Okay, now we have decreased 5 lines of code. Okay, so this is a way when you want to perform a repeated action or a repeated like run the block of a code. Here we use the loops. Okay, and we have different types for loop, and this is what for. So here we know the condition, like how many times we know we need to run this program 8 times. So here we know the condition beforehand, so that we have used this for loop. Okay, loop starts from, see I'm explaining once again. Initialization means here the loop will start from the I equals to 1. First it will take the I equals to 1, then it will check the condition as long as this condition get false. Okay, like if I is less than or equals to 8 only, then only it will work. After the condition is get false, then it will loop will be come out of the program. Okay, update will be increment for one iteration, one cycle. Okay, after checking the condition, it will run the block of code which you have entered in the for loop, and then it will go to the update. Okay, then it will update the value, whichever the I value you have initialized, it will update that value from I equals to 1 to 2. then again it will check the condition, and after that it will execute the program and it come out of the loop, and again it will do the increment, okay, updating. This is how the for loop works. This is how the for loop works. Now next we will move to the while loop. We have the while loop. Now here this is a for loop. What is for loop? Where we have used when we know the iterations are known beforehand. We know how many times we have to repeat the line of a code. But in this while loop, where we use this while loop means like we don't know how many number of iterations we need to repeat that code. Okay, when we don't know the repetitions, so we have to use this while loop by using the condition only. Okay, until the condition became false, it will run through every iteration until the condition get false. Like it is used when when the iterations, when the number of iterations are not known beforehand. Like we don't know the how many number of iterations we need to iterate that particular code, then we will use this while loop based on the condition. Okay, until based on condition, until condition get false. Okay, until the condition get false, we use this while loop. In those cases we use this while loop. Now I will write one syntax. Okay, here it takes only one parameter, which is nothing but the condition. Okay, condition, and the while loop here I'm taking, this is a syntax, and here this is a while keyword. Okay, and here we use the condition. Here we use the condition. Here we write the code to execute. Okay, here we use whatever the code we need to run that code. Now here see what it will it will check the condition. Okay, here the condition is true or false, and it will execute that code, and again it will come, and again it will check the condition. Okay, inside the block of code we will increment or decrement the value whichever you have given in the condition. Okay, now previously we print the numbers from 1 to 8, right? So here also we can use that same way, but increment will be done inside the block of a code. In the for loop, here the update was, here we have given the update. Okay, here we are given the update, and here we are given the condition. But here see, I will comment this and I will do the same program for this one. Now see, by using the while loop, okay, like integer, suppose imagine I write first initializing, I am initializing one value. Now let me take I equals to 1, say. Okay, like here also same, like here we will initialize a loop before outside the loop. Okay, here we have initialize a value, okay, loop variable inside the loop, but here we'll initialize a loop variable outside. Now after the initializing, I will take one while, and here I will give the condition, like I want to print from 1 to 8. Okay, so here the same condition whatever I use, so here also I use that. Now same statement, output statement, here I use this system.out.println. I said right earlier, here the updation was in the loop. Okay, and now this is inside the block of a code. Like here we need to update whatever the variable he has used yeah, this condition, so it has to repeat it that time. So here we need to increment that value, because initially we are declaring that value I equals to 1. So it also do the same work whatever we have used previously. Okay, but in the while loop we are not initializing any value. The value will be previously the value will be initialized outside the loop itself. Now let me run this number. See, it is printing the same, whichever the way you use for loop or while loop, it is printing the same answer. Okay, but here we are initializing the values and incrementing the loop, but here we are initializing the value outside the loop and updating the value inside the code. Okay, inside the loop. Here we are initializing that value outside the loop. Okay, now let we go to the next one. Third one, which is nothing but do while loop. Do while loop also just same like a while loop only, but do while loop means it will execute the program one time before executing the condition. Here first it is checking the condition, then it executing the value. But in the do while loop, it will run the program one time. Okay, it will run the program first time and then it will check the condition. Okay, then it will check the condition, and then based on the condition it will execute the block of a code. Okay, regardless of the condition, it will run for the first time, then it check the condition after the block is executed. Now I will give one syntax here, same syntax as like a while loop, but here this, but here we use one do keyword, and inside this block of here we will write the code. Okay, here we will write the code to execute. Okay, now after executing this code it will check the condition. Okay, while condition, this is how the do while is. Mostly we will not use this do while loop, but sometimes when you want to execute once the program, so we will use in those conditions, we use this do while loop. And see, when you want to like um, like here also we can use a do while loop. Like, see, I will write the same code here. Okay, I will write the same code. Initially I have declared here int I equals to 1, right? So now I will use a do while loop here, same statements, there will be no change in anything. But what it happens means, what is a major difference is both of them are while I less than or equals to 8. See, while I less than, see, these are here the do while and the while loop are same. Okay, here we are also initializing the value outside the loop, here we are incrementing the value inside the loop. Here also same, here we are initializing the value outside the loop, but here we are updating the value inside the loop. But what happens means, first when you are starting the program, here it will check the condition for first time also, but in this case it will print for at least one time. Okay, then it will print the value one time more. Like here I will give like what, two while so there will be difference. Like here I am changing the value. Okay, here see, here I'm checking the value if I is, okay, if I is less than 0 only, then you have to execute this program. But we will see what it will give. User output. Okay, Java application. See, no, no. See, okay, let me comment this. Okay, commented this. Now save it and let us see what as Java application. See, actually, initially we have declared I equals to 1, but first it not checking the condition because why first it will execute the do while. Okay, first it will execute the code which is inside the block, then it will increment the value, and then it will check the condition. Okay, now here the value is, the condition is false, so then it is not repeating that do while condition. But if we have given the condition I less than or equals to 8, then we will see what. See, now the condition is true, then it is printing the number from 1 to 8. Okay, so there is not much difference between this both while and do while, because those are both do the same. Okay, but first it will check the condition. Okay, in the while loop it will check the condition, then it will execute the block of a code, and then it will increment the value inside the code. But here it will execute the code whatever you have written in the do while, and then it will check the condition. This is a major difference between the while and do while. And we have one more which is nothing but a nested loops. Nested loops are same as a nested if the loop inside another loop is called a nested loop. Okay, these are mostly used for working with a multi-dimensional structures, means two dimensionals, 2D, 3D. Okay, we will call that multi-dimensional, right? So in those cases we use this nested loops. Okay, these are also important in, okay, mostly when you are when you are challenging with the next like multi-dimensional structures, or like if you want to print a matrix. Okay, those are the like 2D and 3D structures, like. So in those cases we use this nested loops, the loops inside another loop, we call it as a nested loop. Like let me write here, loop inside another loop. Loop inside another loop is known as a nested loop. Mostly we often use these loops in the multi-dimensional structures like matrices. Okay, matrices is the best example because they are. Now see, uh, the syntax here, we follow the basic syntax itself, like for loop. See, I will comment this down and see here I will write. Okay, now what I said, a loop inside the another loop. No, so I will take one loop for and integer I equals to 1. Okay, first I am initializing the value. So I will take a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, now let me print the 3 by 3 matrix. Like I, let me print 3 by 3 matrix, or okay, let me print whatever. I less than or equals to 3. Okay, I less than or equals to 3. And what we have to do now, we have to increment the value. Now inside this loop again I will write the loop, and here I will change the variable name and equals to I, and j is less than or equals to 3. Okay, less than or equals to 3, and j plus plus, sorry, j plus plus. Now here, now I need to print system dot out dot print. Okay, system dot print. This is one output for the one loop. Okay, for the first time, and so let me clear it like this. Then in the bracket I will print the outer loop value. So here I will print the I. Okay. Now in the first iteration, okay, I will print the I value. I will print the I value and will print the I value, and after that I will print the J value, in which J value we are there. Okay. Now we will see what it will print. Like see here what it will happens means, so first here I will be 1. Okay. I will be 1. Then it will go check the condition. I is less than or equals to 3. Yeah, it is true. Then it will go here, and here it will initialize a value j equals to 1. Okay. J equals to 1, and it will check the condition 1 is less than or equals to 3. Yeah. So then now here it will print the values as I. Okay. I equals to 1. I equals to 1 comma. Okay, here the initially the value is I equals to 1 itself, right? So big, so the value is 1, it is printing the 1. Now here the J value, what? J is 1 also. Okay, J is also 1. Then after executing this line of code, then it will not directly go to the outer loop, but instead of going outer loop, it will go here inside the loop. Then it will increment the value here. Okay, it will increment the value. It will increment the value j plus plus, and here the value will be 2. Then again it will check the value. Okay, then again it will check the condition, and now it will print in the second line. Okay, now it will print in the second line because here we use this println, right? Now the I value will be what? The I value here still it is a 1 only. Okay, it is not incremented because it is not gone to the outer loop. It is still inside the for loop itself. After this condition get false only, then only it will come out of this loop, and it will go and it will increment the I value. So here the value of the I is 1 itself, and but the J value is incremented to 2. Okay, incremented to 2. Again it will increment this J value, and what it will happen, the J will be become 3, and it will check the condition. The check condition is true. Then again it will print. Then again it will print. Here also the I is, here also the I is 1 itself, but the J value is 3. But the J value is 3. Okay, this is how the program runs, and again it will increment the value. Now it will become the j equals to 4, but the condition is false. Then it goes to here, and it will be increment the 2. Okay, and again it will come here, and again the j. So this is how the program runs in the nested loops. Okay, let us run, and what the output will come here. See here, it has printed in a two-dimensional way. Say first 1 1. Okay, till the till the j condition is false, it has printed one dimension. After again when 2 is come, again it has printed all the j3 values, and after incrementing the I value, again it iterated the inside for loop. This is how we use the nested for loop for two dimensions. Okay, two dimensions, and I will give some example for this. Okay, so you will get to know how can we use this nested loops. Now we have one more infinite loops. Infinite loops is nothing but runs in identified, like it will run the loop condition never become the false. Okay, if no termination is defined, like we use some conditional statements, like mostly. Okay, control statements. Control statements in the loops. Okay, control statements, those are some keywords. Okay, this control statements means uh, terminate a loop. Okay, it will terminate a loop without a condition itself. If this condition is satisfied, then it will come out of the loop. Okay, so for we have one break statement. Okay, okay, whenever you use this break in the loop, it will come out of that loop. See here, we will try this. Like here, I think. Okay, here I am using the break statement. Now we will see what it will print it. Okay, see, run as Java application. See here, it has printed for only see, in the first iteration. Okay, in the first iteration, here the initially the I value is 1, and the next, when it comes to I value equals to 1, okay, and it prints the I and j value, which is nothing but I equals to 1 and j equals to 1. I equals to 1, j equals to 1, and here we use a break statement. So what it will do means it will terminate the loops immediately. After executing this, it will not checking the any condition, or it will not updating any value. Initially, after printing these values, it by here we use the break statement, so it coming out of this loop, and it will increment the I value. So here it is incremental I2 value. Again, it comes to the j loop. Okay, inside loop, and initially the j value will be 1. So again, it will printing the I equals to 2 and j equals to 1. Again, we use the break statement, so it coming, it terminating the loop immediately. After wherever we use this break statement, it will terminate that loop. So I will use small example, like let me comment this, so you will get to know more. Okay, time is like here, speed. For integer, initially I'm taking I equals to 1. Okay, I equals to 1. Now I will take I less than or equals to 10, and I plus plus. And what I will do here, inside this I will use one condition. Whenever it reaches the 5, okay, I equals to 5, I need to terminate this loop. Okay, so here I am using the break statement. Okay, here I have given the condition. Let me take this system.out.println number. Here I need to print only from 1 to 5 itself. Okay, here I need to print the 1 to 5 itself, but the condition I given is up to 10. But instead, when I want to print only the 5 numbers, so here I'm checking the condition. If I equals to 5, so it will go to this loop, right? It will go to this block, and here we use the break statement, so it will directly come out of this loop or not. We will check this by running. Like, let me check here, run as. All right, see, it has printed till 1 2 3 4. Okay, see, initially it is 1. Okay, less than. When it comes okay, when it reaches I equals to 5, equals to 5, right? So when it see the break statement in this code, it will come out of this loop immediately. It will come out of this loop, and it will stop the program running. So that reason here we didn't get the 5 number. Why? After seeing this break loop, okay, after seeing this break keyword, it directly come out of this. Okay, terminates a loop immediately after seeing the break keyword. And another statement also we have, like a continue. Okay, one is break and second one is continue. Okay, continue statement is nothing but it skips the current iterations, and moves to the next iterations. Like, see, I will show you here itself. I will change this to 3. Okay, here I change this to 3, and I'm removing this continue statement and used continue statement. What it actually does means, like, where I will run this program, and it will skip that. See, it is printing from 1 to 10. Okay, it is printing from 1 to 10, but where the iteration is 3, okay, where the I is 3, it is just skipping means it's not executing whatever the code is present in this loop. It is not executing, it is just skipping that. At the time of I equals to 3, it is skipping that iteration. Okay, it is skipping that iteration. This is how we mostly use this break and continue statements itself. Okay, for to skip the iteration we use a continue. To terminate the for loop, okay, to terminate the loop only we use a break statement. Okay, now we have what we have discussed all those things, right? And we have one enhanced loop and infinite loops. Infinite loop is nothing but let me show you that also by example itself. Here I will write this loop. See, here I am taking while loop itself. Okay, infinite loops. Infinite loop runs indefinitely. Like if the condition never becomes false, or if no termination is defined, it will run through. Like here mostly here what we will give, we will give the condition, and whatever what it will check whether the condition is true or false. What if we have given here while true only? Here I am giving the condition only true. Okay, and I am saying this is I will say I will print in the output as system.out.println. This is infinite. Okay, this is infinite loop. So here we are not using any statements. Here we are not using any statements, break or a keyword. Then it will run till the condition get false. It will not become false, then we have to manually terminate the while loop. Okay, so the condition is true, then it will run continue times. So we will run this. We'll try this once. See, it is continuously printing that. Okay, why? Here the condition is true, so it will run when till the condition get false, or we have to manually terminate that loop. Okay, so now it stopped because manually I terminate that loop. This is about the infinite loops. It will runs indefinitely. Okay, and mostly we use this in the equivalent like in the servers. Okay, where the program waits for the specific event, or okay, it will run every time. And I will give the document about all those things, okay, with examples also, mostly whatever I explained in this program, okay, and like a programs and everything. This is about the loop statements. Loops we use to run the block of a code repeated times, and we have for while, do while, nested loops, and infinite loops. And we use some control statements which are nothing but break and continue. These statements are important. Okay, if you want to terminate, see here we can use the break, but it will execute only for one time. Okay, when you use this break statement. So practice all those whatever I explained in the today's class. Mostly I will send the document in the tomorrow's class. Okay, if anybody have any doubts, see, just Samhita. Okay, see, if you want to terminate that infinite loop, here we have our terminate button right in our console. So we have to terminate that program without using manually. So here you have to give one break or any control statements, so that you can, or you have to give the one condition. So that you can give one input. Based on that input you have to control that infinite loop. So okay, now practice whatever I am giving in the classes. Just learn those things, and if you have any doubts, let me know through the chat. Okay, I will be in this session for more 2 minutes. If you didn't have any doubts, it's good to go. Thanks. And if you have any doubts regarding previous classes or anything, you can ask me, or you can ping me in the WhatsApp also. Okay. Okay, then if you didn't have any doubts, so let me. Okay, Nana. Bye.